All right, good evening. This is Daryl Martin with ApexInvesting.com, and you can register for free to get access to our trade room, our training, and our trading tools at ApexInvesting.com/bootcamp. This is a Be the Sniper, Be the Target webinar series. In trading, it's your choice if you're the sniper or the target, so you want to make it today. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over a chart review of today's trades on the sniper trading system. So, as always, there's risk involved in investing. Know what you're doing before you do it. And a reminder for you, ApexTraderFunding.com is doing fantastic. We got 30% off your first month with coupon code APEX30. So that is good through October 15th, 2021, and you can use it on up to 10 accounts. Okay, again, you can use it on up to 10 accounts, or if you cancel before then, if it makes sense for you, you can use it again on a new account. So, Apex 30 good for up to 10 accounts, and you can use it on a new account if you want to. If you're renewing coming up right on that, then just use the coupon code again. So, make sure you take advantage of that special offer. All right, let's get going into the charts. Let me pull a chart over here. Oh, it's acting a little weird. There we go. Trying to move it and it threw a trade on. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're getting started here at 9:35. We wait till 9:30, the end of 9:35, so technically 9:36. We have a dark zone where we don't trade from 9:25 to the end of 9:35. Okay? And the reason for that is stocks open up at 9:30, and the markets get a little bit crazy when they're catching up from the open. So stocks are going up, stocks are going down, and the index is catching up from all the movement overnight of the stocks not trading, but the index still moving. Okay, so let's get started and do our trade review on the Sniper Trading System. That's the title, is Sniper Trading System Review. So we wait till the end of 9:35. So we get here to 9:36. And let's check out the trades. Okay, so what I do is I call out the trades, and I recommend you do what I'm doing every day. Log in and have your chart open, just scroll back, and then use your right arrow key to move forward one bar at a time. And this allows you to stop and look and see, is this a good trade? Is it a bad trade? Should I take it? Should I not take it? Based on the rules. And this will develop your visual muscle memory that you need to be able to trade in live markets. You'll learn faster doing this than you will be sitting there in front of the computer for 8 hours a day. Doing this for 30 minutes or an hour every day will get you months ahead in getting down the rules and getting down the trades. And, of course, you can always put screenshots in the room and ask questions as well. So, we have an FTX right here. Is this a valid trade or not a valid trade? And the way that we know is we look at the indicator at the bottom. And that tells us there's a potential valid setup. So it's not a valid FTX, but it is a valid HD trade. So it goes up, it hits that mini magnet. The DR level should be above 1. That is correct. But it is HD. Now it is going right into a mini magnet. So I would be tempted to tighten up my stop after this. And if I did, I would have been knocked out at break even and wouldn't have lost on the trade. Why would I be tempted to tighten up the stop on that trade? It's chopping around. We got that mini magnet right there. You got two dynamic magnets coming up. You got a wall. You got a watt coming up. So that would have made me very nervous. Now, this is going really fast. You probably couldn't even have got in this trade. That's 935, 46, 47, 48. Like, I mean, it literally, you would have had like a second to get in. So there's also a ZOI at the same level as the mini magnet. That's a good point, Grant. So giving it even more strength. So that's why I would have tightened up. But like I said, most people probably didn't even have a chance to get in that trade. Right, it would have been hard to get in. It would have been hard to get to break even. I mean, either way. Because you had like a second to enter and a second to move it. So let's keep going. Alright, now we got a third bar swing right here. Is this a valid third bar swing that you could take? Give everybody a chance to answer. Nope, it's not after a higher high. So you need it off a recent high or a recent low. So, and it's definitely late in the trend. So not a valid trade. So waiting on the next one to come up. And remember, we're only like a minute into the open here. Okay, we got a SLZ right here. Is this a valid trade? Too far from the dev. That's correct. Too far from a level. Some people like to take them off ZOI crashes. I don't. But that is a crash. Yes. So I would not have taken the trade. I don't take them off ZOI crashes. It's not strong enough for me. And you would have lost if you took it. Alright, so let's keep going. Alright, now we got a TX long right here. Is this a valid setup? Nope, doesn't meet any of the rules. Not a valid trade. Don't be afraid to be wrong. You know, chime in. It's the only way that you learn. We got another SLZ. Do we have a valid trade here? We're only 2 minutes in to the trading time, by the way. So markets are moving really fast. No. Now we got an SLZ up here at the 0.25 dev. Is that a valid trade? Yeah, it'd be valid off of a dev. And that one took off. Went right down to the mini magnet. So I'll still take a SLZ if it's going into a crash. Crashes don't stop me from taking a trade. And they don't encourage me to take one by themselves. Okay, now we got a TX long. Is it valid? What is a ZOI crash? A ZOI crash is when you have two different colors of ZOIs come together. It's called a ZOI crash. You got ETX and you got OPR on it. Okay. And that trade would have been valid and you would have had some little bit of time to get into that trade and it was profitable. Now we got a TX short. Is that a valid trade? Nope. DR is too low. Doesn't meet any of the requirements. Now we got another TX short. Is that valid? At 9:39.11, there wasn't anything at 9:39.11. You got an ETX. You don't have HD on the trade because this would have been a lower low to be HD. You are going right into a dev. So I would not take it going into the dev. Because you got that deviation level, and that's one of our major levels. If you did take it, what should you do right now? Be out at break even. That's right. So anytime it coils, up, down, down, after you get in there, you want to get out of the trade at break even if you can. It eventually would have made it, but wasn't worth staying in. All right, we got a TX short right here. Do we have a valid trade? Nope, DR and all that other stuff, nothing's going for it. No valid setup. Looking for the next setup here. All right, we got an SLZ. Do we have a level for it to come off of? You got to have a level, one of the 5 major levels that I talk about in all the trainings. And we don't have a major level for it to come off of. Unless it's within 2 points of a major level. Are these Renko bars? They're similar to Renko bars. They're more accurate. They actually show the wicks. And they have a reset time, so that way they always load the same. We call them diagnostic bars. And they also pull every tick of data. No, there's no short. The way you get to show the same OP as mine is you load the template and you make sure that you have your tick replay setting on, like we show in the setup videos for Ninja. So it also have to go through the wall. That's another good point. So, yep, but not a valid trade. If you would have got in it, you would have got out at break even, or you would have lost. All right, we got a TX long right here. Is that a valid setup? So if you said no, look again. If you're having an issue on your charts, just hop inside the Ninja Trader support room and people will help you out. We have a support Skype group. They'll be happy to help you. So it is valid. And it is profitable. It's a valid ODD. ODD is when this number is lower than this number and it's 85% or less of the previous OD number. So we had 632 here, we had 452 here, we had 72%. That makes it a valid OD number. So the bar that you would enter on would be a tick above this bar right here. And then you'd exit 2 bars later, right there. So you'd enter here, you'd exit here. So the bar right after the setup bar. The rule's actually 85% or less. Okay, we got an SLZ. Is this a valid trade? If we look at it, what do we got? 75, 1440. But we got a blue ice level. So we do have an ice level, or actually it's a flux level. If it was an ice level, we'd have a price marker on the side. So it's off of a flux. All right, so we agree that it is valid. So it's not too far because that flux level, which was almost hiding in there with all the other stuff going on. And that is a winning trade. Again, entering one tick below the low and taking profit 2 bars later. See here. All right, we got an SLZ up here. This is one of those coming off of a crash that Lori would probably take, but I would still be hesitant to take. The one thing that gives it validity where I actually might take it is what? What do you think? What do you see that's an extra confirmation that we use on trades? OPR, that's right. That little red triangle by it. So that little red triangle is your extra confirmation. So that's one that I actually would be tempted to take off of a ZOA crash. Without that, I would not. It's not HDD because, again, this number would have to be lower than that number and have to be the second pullback. So why do we take profit and not let it run? Sniper is a scalping strategy. So we go in and we scalp. If you let a lot of them run, they will go back. We do teach in the Thrive course how what we call lane 3 and 4 trades and how to let those run. So we do teach you how to let them run after you've mastered the scalps. But if you can't scalp, you can't let a trade run. So you got to know when to let one run and when not to. So we teach that in Thrive. We also teach how to do trailing trades in the Simplicity setup. The little red triangle is OP rejection. So it's looking at very specific order prints numbers inside the bars and comparing them to previous bars. And there's a massive drop off in order flow. Like it's big, 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 and then it gets really small. And that's what OP rejection is. And that's why the red triangle shows up, because there was a massive drop off. Like there was a bunch of orders going up, and then right up here at the top, there was like nothing. Like it was like 1 or 2. So on NASDAQ, you're going to scalp basically 9 to 10 ticks. All right, and that trade would have won. YM is the same, yep. Got OPR there, but no setup. All right, we got a TX short here. Is this a valid setup right here? Is that an ETX? Well, you can check it out. We got 6150 and you got a ZOI at 61. So yes, it would be a valid ETX. Because the mini magnet or paw with the TX printed within 2 ticks of another OP level. And an OP level is a ZOI, a mini magnet, a paw, a cluster, or an eye block. So being an ETX, it is a valid trade. Get in, and profitable. All right, we got a TX long here. Is this a valid setup? Nope. No valid trade. We got a SLZ. Is that a valid SLZ going into that wall? No, it is not. It was not coming off a major level and was going into a major obstruction. All right, we got a TX short right here. Do we have a valid TX short? Nope. Yeah, right into double dynamic magnets. DR is green and very high. Has OPR, but OPR is not enough to just give us a TX short that doesn't meet any of the other rules. And you're glad you didn't take it because you would have lost. We got another TX short. Do we have a valid trade? This one printed a paw right on top of a ZOI. So that would make it a valid, what, ETX? And what would you do right here? Get out at break even because it coiled up and back down. All right, stop for the day. You're up your 3. Exactly. Okay, so you wouldn't just tighten it. You would exit at break even. All right, we got a TX short going into double dynamic magnets. Was that barely HD? No, it wasn't, because this is 1,019%. That's way larger than 3% there, and it's at a higher high. You have to have a lower high for HD. Two pullbacks and a lower high, or two pullbacks and a higher low. Yep, no trade. Now we got an SLZ long coming off the dynamic magnets. Okay, everybody says valid trade. And it is a valid trade, and it is profitable. All right, now we got a double TX short. Yeah, not going with DR. You could sort of try to say range bound, but you'd be pushing it. But you do have what? What do you have in your favor? You got ODD. 67% of the previous number. You got a first pull back, second pull back, 67%. Coming off of a lot of stuff. And it would have been profitable. So that was an ODD trade, an oscillation detector divergence, where we had divergence from the previous pullback. Basically what this means is the market went higher on less volume and then gave us exhaustion signals to go short. Yeah, it's coming off that dev, that flux, that paw. I mean, it was coming off of a lot. All right, now we got a TX long. Do we have, sort of jumped ahead, do we have a valid trade? If you say no, look closer. So this is an HD trade. Something several people have been asking about. This is when you make a lower high on more volume, or a higher low on more volume. So the market pulled back with more volume than it had on the last pullback by 125% or more. That makes it an HD trade setup. So we enter the trade, and it is profitable. And again, this is just following the rules as laid out in the course. Are y'all seeing how doing these market reviews really helps? It helps you pause for a second and look and see it. Maybe worth doing yourself every day. Get a lot better if you'll do this yourself every day. All right, so now we got a TX short. Do we have a valid trade? No trade. Didn't line up with any of our rules. Doing with your wife. There you go. You can discuss them. That's awesome. It didn't all happen within 1 to 2 seconds. I mean, this bar took 30 seconds to close. This bar took 15 seconds to close. So, you had plenty of time. All right, now we got a SLZ long. Is that a valid setup? Going into double mini magnets. If it was just going into one and as a tick away, I'd take it. But going into two, no. If you did take it, get out of break even. But not a valid trade. Go. We got another SLZ short. Is this a valid trade? Nope, not a valid. Doesn't line up with any of our rules. Not coming off a major level. Now we got a TX long. Is this a valid trade? If you're saying no, double check and look at it again. There you go. Yeah, you got an HD, right? Doesn't matter what the DR level is except for on a FTX. That's the only trade the DR level itself matters on. So again, it's an HD because it's greater than 125% of the last OD and it made a higher low. So we get in, and it was profitable. Wasn't an ETX, but it was an HD trade. Yeah, no, it's definitely coming off a stack. All right, we got a TX short here. Do we have a valid trade? No valid trade. Almost an ODD, but not quite, right? 91%. Yeah, range-bound trades are dangerous. You got to be really good at reading the market to do them well. few minutes goes by when nothing happens and you wonder what's broken, right? All right, now we have a elevator long. I would not take it. You're in this range bound area. This is your low. Made a high, made a low, made a low. I would not take it. Would have won, but I'd rather miss out on a trade that wins than take a trade that loses. Oh, we got a TX long right there. Is that a valid trade? It's going into a stack. It is an ETX, but you got coil chopping going into a stack. Is that an ideal setup? If you look left, you can see how the market was topping out right here. So is that really an ideal trade that you want to take? A stack is when you have 3 levels in a row in between your entry and your take profit. No. So it won, but again, I'll miss out on some winners to avoid losers. Now we got a TX short. What do we got? We got a trade or no trade? No trade. Doesn't meet any of the requirements. Got back up here. All right, we got a TX short. Is it a valid trade? No. Does not meet any of our requirements. We skip that one. We're glad we did. That one lost. We got a SLZ long. Is that a valid trade? Yeah, you got 2-bar chop, not a valid trade, not coming off a major level. But it did take off. Could have got some simplicity points out of that. All right, now we got a TX short. Trade or no trade? They're 10-tick diagnostic bars. So they're 10 ticks from open to close. It is an ETX. That is within 2 ticks. Yeah, and it'd be wise to take profit right before that mini magnet, which you would have anyway. It was already set right there. And the trade wouldn't have been profitable. Get an ETX is when you get a TX with a mini magnet or paw within 2 ticks of another OP level. Alright, we got a TX short here. Is that a valid trade? No trade. Correct. Oh, we got a TX long. Is that a valid trade? We got ODD. So that would be a valid setup. It reversed on you, reversed back. What do you do? Get out at break even. All right. Got an SLZ. No major level, so no trade. got a TX short. Do we have a valid trade? No trade, no rules, and lots of chop. Going into a flux. All right, we got a third bar swing. Is that a valid trade? That is valid, and it was a profitable trade. Third bar swings coming off a recent high or low are valid trades. Third bar swings when you get a TX with a mini magnet and you get a wick with 2 ticks or more on them. All right, we got a SLZ short coming off of a flux. So valid off the flux. Profitable trade. It was a little bit dangerous because you were going into that dynamic, that deviation level. So I probably would have avoided it, but it was valid, but I would have avoided the trade personally. Don't like taking trades into a dev. All right, we got a TX short. Is that a valid trade? It is an ETX. That is correct. We got a paw on it within 2 ticks of a ZOI. Y'all see that? Yeah, well, unfortunately, we don't get to see the HD icons in live. But, yes, valid trade, and it was profitable. All right, we got an FTX short. Is that a valid trade? Is it above a 1? Nope. Now we got an elevator long. Is this a valid setup? Yep, got a new low. And it is profitable. So, valid elevator setup. Elevator is when you have coil chop, and you have a cluster on the second or third bar with a TX with a mini magnet on it. Now we got a TX short. Is that a valid trade? It is HD. Oh, no, it's not HD. It's 123%. So, not quite. Good job. And you would have been down at break even if you did take it, but you shouldn't have taken it. And it was going into double mini magnets, which is considered a stack level. So you should have taken profit before the double mini magnets if you did take it. But again, it wasn't HD. All right, we got a double TX here and all this coil chop. Do we take it? No. All right, we got a TX long here. So, not a valid trade. Got a TX short. Not a valid trade. Doesn't meet any of our setup rules. Got a TX long right here. Nope, not HD, not high enough. We've got an SLZ short. Going right to a dynamic magnet, which is 1 tick away. So technically you could take it. You also have, you don't have ODD, you have oscillation divergence, but you don't have a TX on it. So if it's one tick away, you actually can take an SLZ. If it's one tick away from a major level. That one, you would have got out at break even. So now you got ODD. But you're still going into the dynamic magnet. It is not an ETX. It does not have a paw or mini magnet on it. So not a valid trade. All right, we got an FTX. Is it a valid trade? Yeah, it is an ETX. It has a mini magnet. It's right on top of a mini magnet. And an eye block. You are at sort of the top of a range, you could call that, but I would call that more of a pullback and an uptrend because it's not 2-3 bar chop. And that is a valid setup. It is a valid trade, and it wins. It's also HD. So you got an ETX with HD. I always like it when you get two combos in one. All right, we got a TX short. Can we take the TX short? There you go, ODD. Everybody's like, yeah. So take it, and it is profitable. All right, we got a TX long. Can we take it? So, nope. It's not HD. It's not OD. It's not anything. Not an ETX. It's more than 2 ticks away. If you mistook it and got in, then you still could have got out at break even. Now we got an SLZ. Right on a dynamic magnet again. So valid. See what happens when you're greedy and you trade more than 3? There was a TX short right after, by the way. Was that valid or not? Chop. Nope, not valid. And I think that is going to bring us to 11 o'clock. We got one last trade here at 11. Got a TX short. Can we take it? Nope, not a valid trade. So, we had a couple losers. We had a lot of winners. You definitely had your chance to stop at your 3 and done. And 3 and done means you're up 30 ticks and you stop. Or give or take 30 ticks. Okay? Like if you're up 26 ticks, don't push it. Don't give back your ticks, right? All right, so did y'all pick up a couple things tonight? Good review? Sweet. Okay. Yep, exactly. If you overtrade, it's your psychology, not the methodology. Y'all are very welcome. Y'all have a great evening. I will see you in the trade room in the morning. And don't forget to do these reviews yourself. They will make a big difference in getting down, being able to see these trades live and know whether or not they're valid. Okay? Y'all have a great night. Again, check us out at apexinvesting.com/bootcamp for free access to our training, our tools, and our trade room. And don't forget, Again, just another reminder that we have the discount of 30% off with coupon code APEX30 at apextraderfunding.com. SLZ, HD, ETX, etc. Are these explained in the course? Yes, they are. So when you get to the setups, we go through each one of them step by step. All right, y'all take care. I'll see you tomorrow morning.